In the first video on Twice-Exceptionality, we explained what 2E is and why it can be so difficult to properly identify 2E students. In this video, we focus on the 5 common myths that result from the generalized lack of understanding about these students. Myth number 1, being gifted makes up for having learning or attention issues. Twice exceptional learners can be confusing to educators and to parents, as it can be hard to recognize or understand their signs. Sometimes giftedness may mask learning and/or attention issues or vice versa. In either case, 2E students can look as if they have average abilities. But when you look more closely at where they shine and where they struggle, it becomes clear that they might really be 2E students. No matter how well they can use their strengths, they still have learning and attention issues for which they need support. Myth number 2. Students can't be gifted and lack basic skills, so they're just not trying hard enough. It can be hard to realize that a learner who understands some things on such a profound level can have trouble with basic skills. But 2E students often have uneven skills. They may do well in one area, like math, but have trouble with processing speed, social skills, or following directions. Without explicit instruction in those areas, it doesn't matter how hard 2E kids try, they're still going to have trouble. Myth number 3, students aren't eligible for specialized support. When a student is mostly doing well, the school can sometimes be hesitant to evaluate them for special education services. But academics aren't the only thing to consider. There are other challenges that can point to learning and attention issues as well. These can include things like trouble making friends or managing emotions. Schools must evaluate a child if a disability is suspected. If a student is found eligible, they should have specialized support. Myth number 4, addressing weaknesses should be the top priority when helping 2E students. The National Education Association stresses that programs for 2E learners should be individualized to meet both special education and gifted needs. One isn't more important than the other. Some school districts even have individualized learning plans to address specialized instruction for gifted students. Others have specialized programs to address the unique needs of 2E students. No matter how your school handles it, playing to your students' strengths is always best practice. Myth number 5, 2E students should be more mature than other kids their age. 2E kids have what's known as asynchronous development. That means they're far ahead intellectually, but far behind socially and emotionally. This gap can cause learners a lot of anxiety and makes it hard for them to get along with other kids their age. They may come across as argumentative when they really just want to have an in-depth discussion, and they can have trouble reading social cues the way other kids do. Schools often have 2E students operating underneath the radar, which doesn't help the educator or the student. If you suspect a student might be twice exceptional, consider the following. First, obtain a referral for an educational testing professional who has the expertise to properly assess and diagnose the student. Second, schools should implement academic accommodations and modifications, as well as train their staff on the best ways to personalize education in order to teach effectively for cognitively diverse students. Our online programs on the science of learning teach educators precisely how to do this.